So again, anger is a response, it's an emotion, it's a preconscious thought, but when you feed it, it can become deadly. So what is anger? Anger bubbles up when we feel threatened or thwarted or thin. And I want to explain each of those. These are very important. Anger bubbles up when we feel threatened, thwarted, or thin. So anger, when it's a holy emotion, has justice at its object and love at its root. A lot of times we get angry when we feel someone else threatened. A lot of times we feel angry if we're trying to do something good and we're thwarted. But vicious anger, by contrast, is self-regarding and selfish. So here's the key difference between righteous anger and deadly anger. Deadly anger is more focused on you. Righteous anger is more focused on the good that God has for us and how we want to achieve that. So let me talk about these three things, okay? These three things. Anger is being threatened. So just a week ago, Liz and I were riding bikes. We were riding down to Lincoln Elementary School. We get to an intersection where people constantly roll through. And we see this all the time. We actually are porch police officers in our neighborhood because people go wrong way on the one-way street and we stand out there and we go, wrong way! And I watch people roll through my stop sign all the time. And it frustrates me because it threatens people. But we're riding on our bikes and we actually wave at a car, like letting them know that we're going through this intersection, and they start rolling right towards us. Instantly, we're both like, no! We're like screaming at them, stop! And then we're fuming right afterwards. I can't believe that! Didn't they see us there? I literally waved at them, and they were driving towards us. And for the next couple of blocks, we're just like, people. We were angry because we were threatened. And you see, if you yourself get threatened, you get angry. If you see someone you love threatened, you get angry. It's a natural response. Or it could be when we're thwarted. So when we're thwarted, we can get angry. So you're like, you know what, I got 15 minutes. I'm going to run into the Starbucks. I really like a drink. I'm going to treat myself. Because we learned that it's okay sometimes to treat yourself a couple weeks ago, right? So I'm going to Starbucks. I got my 15 minutes. I run into the store. There's like 2 people in front of me in the line. Plenty of time. This is great. Person goes through. They get their mocha. The next person gets through. And they unfold in their pocket a sheet of paper that has all sorts of details described on it for the 12 drinks they're going to buy for all their office mates. You're like, why didn't you order that online? Why aren't you in the drive-thru? You are totally blocking my way. And you're standing there, and as they go through each mocha frappuccino or hibiscus tea, every time they name one, you just find yourself getting a little bit more frustrated. How many people can you buy a drink for? And you know they're going to ask you to help carry it out to their car because they can't possibly take 12 drinks, and so you're thwarted. You've been there before. You've been at the checkout line, 12 items. That person has 20. Anger or thin. If you have ever raised a child, you have been thin because they scream and cry all the time, but especially at night, and you get tired. And you spend maybe a year or 2 of your life not sleeping, and this child wants something from you at all times, but maybe it's not a child, maybe it's your dog, maybe it's your cat. It doesn't matter. If you are lacking sleep, you are thin, and you find yourself a little bit less patient. And this is understandable. Or you might be someone who has a long commute to work. You have to take 45 minutes driving there, 45 minutes back, and your boss has been asking you to work extra hours, so you're putting in really, really long days and then a long commute, and you're just thinned out. And when you're not rested, and when you don't get a little personal time, and when you don't have the time to like exercise or eat right, all those kind of things, they just thin you out. And so you're irritable then. And this makes sense. So these are 3 ways that we can be angry. Anger bubbles up when we're threatened, when we're thwarted, and when we're thinned.